Hello again. Government has urged companies as well as schools to sanitize and disinfect their premises regularly to help in the fight against COVID-19. So what does the process entail and how effective is it? We try and find out now from Ian van Niekerk from the Skitterblink Cleaning Company. I hope I said that correctly. Ian, a very good afternoon to you and thank you so much for joining us. So sometimes you also hear the term deep cleaning. What does that even mean?
Yes, Duru, there's quite a few definitions. Deep cleaning in the disinfection environment is actually not the correct term in terms of what we know. You know, we work according to the Global Biorisk Advisory Council's definitions, and they have different versions or different levels of disinfection. So you will start by cleaning, and then when you move the next level up, you will go to sanitize. And from sanitization, you go to disinfection, and then it's sterilization. So deep clean might fall somewhere into a sanitize, disinfection, so forth. But in general terms, in cleaning environment, normally deep cleaning is when you do a little bit more than the usual cleaning in terms of you use extra equipment and those kind of things. So I will define it more in terms of COVID-19. In terms of a disinfection definition, that's where I will place it.
Please expand on the disinfection explanation for us.
Okay, so if you talk about disinfection, first of all, you need to know about the terminology of a lock reduction rate. Now, your lock reduction rate is the rate that we all use to determine how strong or how effective the disinfectant is. So if we talk about a lock reduction rate of 3, it means that a specific disinfectant will kill 99.9% of microorganisms within 1 minute. So normally when we want to talk about the disinfection on that level, we talk about a lock rating, a reduction rating of 5 or 6. So that means it's a 99.9999% of microorganisms will be killed within 1 minute.
As a layperson, how do I determine that a surface, this table for instance, is disinfectant? I do not have a fluorescent marker to check just how disinfected it is. Do you just go on the trust that it does have the capacity to kill 99.9% of the germs?
Yeah, as a layperson, it will be very difficult for you to determine that because you'll either have to do it with swab tests. That's what we normally use in the cleaning environment. So you do a swab test before you disinfect, and you do a swab test after you disinfect, and then you compare the two afterwards, and they have to analyze that in a laboratorium. So for a layperson, just to check, because microorganisms you cannot see, so it's microscopic small. So you have to trust the people that are doing these things in your whatever place you are moving into, that they have the integrity to use the correct methods and chemicals.
The correct methods and chemicals. We are showing visuals of somebody wiping a table with a cloth and also people pushing a trolley. So when you get to whichever outlet you get to, they give you a cloth that you just wipe the surface of the trolley. Is that enough?
Well, they're always saying a professional disinfection stands on 3 pillars. So it is your disinfectant, in other words, your chemical. That must be the correct one. It is the correct equipment to do it, and it must be the operator doing it. So it's a combination of those 3 elements or pillars give you a professional disinfection. And so to do a correct disinfection, you must have the correct disinfectant. And the only way that you are sure that the disinfectant is according to standards is that they must have a NRC S number. That is a regulatory number that South African is part of the SABS numbering systems. And with that, you can be certain that this chemical is certified according to certain standards. And then we trust that will do what's standing on that specific piece of paper.
Let's use an example of a school, for instance. What would it mean for them to deep clean the space for children to be able to get onto and interact?
Good. So before any disinfection, you always have to clean a surface. So you need to take out, and that's what the definition of cleaning is removing any debris, any dirt with a normal detergent, with a normal soap type. That is cleaning. Now, after you've cleaned it, then you must disinfect it. Now, disinfection then comes into play. And the three things that I just mentioned, you must use the correct disinfectant with the correct equipment, and the operator that's doing it must be trained to do it professionally.
Is there a guarantee that you can make a space totally germ-free?
The higher the lock reduction rate is of your disinfectant, the better the chance is that you will have it totally germ-free. So if you are talking about chemicals or disinfectants with a lock reduction rate of 6 and 7, you are very, very close to a 0% germs in that environment.
I'm just curious in terms of the cleaning cloth. So you clean your house and you use the same cloth to clean various surfaces from the bathroom to your tiles. Does it matter that you use one cloth, or should you be using different kinds, or does the chemical help and it's not a matter of the cloth?
Well, in Skitterblink, we make use of the color coding system. So we have different colors of cloths for different areas. So we won't advise anyone to use the same cloth that you use in your kitchen and then go and use it in the bathroom and vice versa. So we have a color coding to say, okay, yellow is for your kitchens and red is for your washrooms, facilities, and so forth. That being said, if you are working with disinfectants, disinfectants are killing germs. So there's not supposed to be any germs on that cloth that you're using. But just to make sure that we are not cross-contaminating between different rooms, we make use of different color coding.
From the work that you do, especially in the hospitality space, do we find that we have hygiene managers, people who are tasked with looking out for that, not just maybe in the hospitality space, but in corporates as well, everywhere?
Dudu, I think it's a new position that's coming into the market now. I don't think it was a lot of them always there. A lot of people with the COVID-19 coming to the forefront now are looking and say, okay, but what must we do? How are we going to manage this whole process? It's now not just cleaning as business as usual. So, and then you have to have these different types of positions coming into play now. And that's why a lot of companies, as we as Enclave, also have now courses developed where we can train your cleaning staff as disinfection hygienists so that they can make sure that they do it properly according to the correct standards.
Disinfectant hygienists. How important is human behavior also here?
Well, you know, if human behavior, if you are going to cross-contaminate, doesn't matter what we have put in place, what chemicals, what external procedures, if you are not going to look what you're doing, you can always cross-contaminate the place again. With, you know, instance, if you are working with food and you have just put something in the rubbish bin and you took your hands on the rubbish bin, on the rubbish papers and so forth, and you come back to the food, it might that you contaminated it. So you always have to see at what your operations of the person is.
Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Ian van Niekerk from the Skitterblink Cleaning Company.